Welcome to the demonstration day of the MedAid application. The MedAid application provides clients a reasonable quality doctor within their vicinity. The contributors to this project are Kanya G, Adlai M, Johan F, and myself, Yaroslav. The MedAid application origins. We wanted an application that had an originality factor, and we started researching applications that were out in the Android Play Store. And from our research, there were only a few applications dedicated to finding quality doctors. We have to keep in mind that phone applications are mainly used by younger generations, and we had to tailor our target audience to this younger generation. From most important to least important, our target audience targets students, young adults, traveling professionals, parents, caretakers, the disabled, and the elderly. Now you may ask, why are students our main audience? Well, student health often drops in college because of stress eating, malnutrition, and lack of exercise. Nearly 50% of all college students will face food scarcity during their studies. Doctors are essential during the college period because doctors can provide the proper nutrition and supplement information that a student needs. We spent about 15 hours on the application, and the application was developed over the course of nearly 2 months.
Click the MedAid icon to open up the app. Once there, it'll take you to the login screen, so you can either log in or register for an account. We're just going to log in with a registered user. So once we log in, it'll take us to the search screen, and you can see all the different doctors that have been added to the app that they registered. You can look for a doctor in a specific area. So let's say you wanted to look for doctors in Irvine. You type in the search bar and you'll see only the doctors that are in Irvine. And if we click on a doctor, it'll take us to the doctor screen. And you can see their profile picture, their name, their rating, and the location as well. And let's say we wanted to get directions, we can just click the Get Directions, and it'll take us to Google Maps and with our address already set up. If you keep scrolling down, you can see also other reviews from other users. It seems like only this user has gone to this specific doctor, so only he's there for now. And let's say we had another doctor's visit and we wanted to leave a review, and the doctor had great bedside manner and we wanted to share that with everyone. We can type it in and then we can give the doctor a star from 0 to 5 stars, since it was a great bedside manner. And the doctor listened to the problems that the patient had. We're just going to post the 5 stars. And you can see our new review in the doctor screen. And let's say we like the doctor so much that we want to add them to our favorites. We can click the heart icon here, and you can add them to their favorites. So we're going to add the doctor to our favorites now. And you see the doctor now in the list of favorites. And let's say you found a doctor and had not a so great experience and we wanted to remove them, then we can click on the favorites again, and now they are removed. So you can see the doctor was removed from the screen. And if we click on our last icon in the navigation bar, it'll take us to our profile screen. And there you could see the profile image of the user, their screen name, and as well as the date it was created. You can also add a doctor, and you can add their image and their name and location. So this will be a future implementation where we add some more information about the doctor. And once you click Add Doctor, it'll send the doctor's information up to our database where we will verify the doctor. And then we'll also in the future add a contactless button in case there are any issues that the user's having. And once they're done, they can click log out.
So this is our Back4 app database, and we have 3 classes known as user, doctor, review. User, we of course have a username, a password, email, data to be authenticated. And we also have an optional thing where you can actually set up your own profile picture. And we have this favorite list where you could favorite doctors in this class. And then for the following class, we have, of course, doctor. And in doctor, we have, of course, the names. And we also have ratings that are given to by the users. And we have a review list, which is a list of reviews under their name that is stored in here. And we have the locations in here as well. And we have also an image or a profile pic that is recommended that they have. And the third one, we have a review. In here we have the user ID and doctor's ID, which are connected to these reviews that they're given, and also a rating of these reviews. So it stands from 1 to 5, 5 being the most, 1 being the least. That's our Back4 app.
Okay, so now to get into more of the code of our application, I'll be talking about the code for the detail screen. And rather than just talking about the code, I'll actually show you guys how the detail screen looks right now. Okay, so this is it. As you can see, we have information over the doctor on top, as well as a list of reviews down below. And a unique feature about this detail screen is that we can scroll down while maintaining the information of the doctor on top. We were able to achieve this by writing 2 adapters for one recycle review. And right now I'll be talking about the first recycle review, first adapter, that we wrote for the recycle review, which is the header adapter, which is what we use to populate our doctor information into the first item inside of the recycle review, which is what you see in the detail fragment. And now to get into the code, we just have a constructor for the header adapter, which accepts a doctor and a user. The doctor is used so that we can get the information of the doctor and bind it to the actual view holder. And then I'll shortly get into why we need the user. But right now, we just have some basic boilerplate code for the actual adapter, so I won't go into much detail for that. And then, now to get into the real meat of the actual adapter, we have the view holder, and we use some basic views such as a text view, some buttons, and a rating bar, and an image view. And we use the text views just to bind the doctor's name and address to the actual UI, and some buttons to actually interact with the detail fragment, such as a review button, which is used so that we can switch from the detail fragment to a compose fragment, which is where we would write the review for that individual doctor. And a search button, which takes the address of the actual doctor and gives you some directions to that location. And a favorites button, just so that the user can add this doctor to their favorites list. And a rating bar to show what the current status of the doctor is, such as whether or not people like this doctor or not. And an image view just to populate the doctor's profile picture. And below here, we're just getting the actual views from the XML file and attaching it to our actual objects. And then below, we're taking the actual information of the doctor and binding it to those objects that we see above here. And then right below that, we have some logic to basically check whether or not a doctor is inside of the user's favorite list already. So in the case where the doctor is already inside of the favorites list of the user, we'll set the favorites button as checked. And then if anything else, so he's not inside, so the doctor isn't inside the favorites list of the user, we'll just set it as false. And then we have a review button, which is used so that we can switch in between the detail fragment and the compose fragment, so I won't go into much detail for that. And then we have a search button, which takes the address of the doctor and then just gives you some directions to that location. And then a favorites button, which is used to listen to whenever the favorites button is clicked, and if it is checked, then we'll add that doctor to the favorites list of the current user. So that's why we needed the user to be passed into the constructor for the adapter, and then if it's not checked, we'll just remove it from the list of the user. Okay, so now I'll be talking about the second adapter we wrote for the detail fragment, and this one is the review adapter, which is what we use to populate the list of reviews onto the detail fragment. So now to get into the code, we have a constructor for the review adapter, which takes in the list of reviews that we will be populating onto the detail fragment, and a context. And then below that, we just have some basic boilerplate code for the adapter, so I won't be going into the detail for that. And then below we have the code for the view holder. And what we use are some basic views such as text views, image views, and a rating bar to populate the information for the review left behind. So the first two text views were used to populate the username of the user that left the review, as well as the review that was left behind. And then we use an image view to populate or to render the profile picture of the user, and a rating bar to populate the actual rating that the user left behind for that doctor. And then below that, we just have some statements that is getting the actual components in the XML file and binding them to, or assigning them to, the actual objects you see above here. And then below that, we have a bind function, which basically gets the information of the review and binds it to the actual objects above here. Okay, and now I'll be talking about how we were able to achieve the functionality of having the information of the doctors stay on top and the list of reviews on the bottom of the detail fragment, and still having that scrollability functionality, as you can see right here. And the way we did that was by first instantiating the two adapters, so the header adapter and the review adapter, and then passing them into a concat adapter object. And what this concat adapter object does is it takes in two adapters and combines them into one adapter. So you can imagine if the header adapter had more information to populate, it would populate that information first, and then below that, it would populate the other information for the second adapter. But in this case, you only have one piece of information for the header adapter, so that information always stays at the top, while the other information for the second adapter is always below it. And that's it.